So how are we planning to roll this out in Madera Unified? We have chosen the program model that, based on the research, has shown to be the most successful, which is the 90-10 program model. This particular model is a sequential literacy model. And the way it works, if I can draw your attention to the kindergarten area, the students, it's most important that the students begin in kindergarten for us to obtain optimal results as the students progress through the program. So in kindergarten, the students' instruction will be delivered for 90% of the day in Spanish and for 10% of the day in English, as I previously described. When the students move to first grade, then their instruction will be 80% in Spanish and 20% in English. Again, we'd follow the same type of model where two teachers might switch classes for that English instruction so that we can maintain that level of not breaking the language code within the classrooms. Typically, kids do realize at some point that their teachers do understand both languages, but sometimes it takes them a couple of years to figure this out. And that's okay as long as the students know that the instructional model time frames have to be adhered to by the teacher. So let's continue on. In second grade, the students will receive 70% of their instruction in Spanish and 30% of their instruction in English. In third grade, we reduce that Spanish instruction to 60% of the day in Spanish and 40% of the day in English. And then when we get to the fourth, fifth, sixth grade and beyond, the instruction will be an even 50% in English and 50% in Spanish. So the subjects would be divided up, and some subjects would be delivered in Spanish and others in English. And the purpose of this model is to continue to maintain high levels of academic rigor in both languages of the program, and to be able to provide those students further vocabulary development, further production in both languages while maintaining them both. Our plan here in Madera Unified is not to end at sixth grade, but to continue to grow this program all the way through the 12th grade. So the students who participate in this program, we would hope that if they begin in kindergarten, that they would remain at the elementary school site from kindergarten to sixth grade for this program. But then when they move into the middle school, then continue on through the dual language instruction program and continue to improve their language skills and advance those skills along the way. Studies have shown that the students, by the time they exit sixth grade and go into seventh grade, the Spanish classes that are open and available for them to take in seventh and eighth grade are often too basic for them. So we would definitely want to offer rigorous classes for the students to continue to improve upon the skills that have been taught in their elementary school years, and then also continuing the program into the high school with more rigor as they go. So here on this slide, we talk about class composition. It's very important in the program, and part of the way that this program is successful is by maintaining a balanced amount of linguistic groups, or students who speak only English and only Spanish. Our overall goal would be to have 50% of our students who speak English and 50% of our students who speak Spanish who participate in the program. However, if we do have bilingual students out there who already speak in English and Spanish upon entering kindergarten, not saying that they have to read or write, because obviously kindergartners don't typically come in reading and writing, but speaking only, we definitely would welcome those students to participate in the program as well. Our main consideration here would be that we would have to maintain an equal balance, as equal as we can, a balance of students within the classroom. So let's just suppose that we have as many as 33% of our students coming in who are already bilingual. Those students would be models for both the English speakers and the Spanish speakers. And so then we could still have another 33% of our students who are Spanish speaking only, and as many as 34% of our students who are English speaking only, to make up that equal balance amongst the students in the classroom, giving us the three different groups of students to work together and to share learning of languages together in the classroom. So let's kind of just do an overview of some of the program that we've already discussed, but things that we haven't discussed up to this point in some respects as well. So this program is a program of choice. No student or family would be obligated to put their child in the program. This is a choice program that we will have an application process that we go through, and parents would opt to put their children in the program. So what would happen is the parents, if they would like to put their child in this program, they would fill out an application that they can get at their school site beginning in December, and then they would return that application to the district office. At this point in time of recording this, we have not selected the actual site that this program will be conducted in. However, we are hoping that at our next board meeting, November 15th, that final decision will be made. By the time applications come out in December, the site will be determined and it will be on the application so that parents are informed of where this site will be. So let's talk about where, once that decision is made, the direction of our board has been that they would like us to begin this as a school-wide rollout. Let me explain what that means. So let's imagine, just for lack of not knowing which school it's going to be at right at the moment, that let's pretend it's at school number 33. We don't actually have a school 33, but let's just pretend. Okay, so if it were at school number 33, then what we would do is we would look at the number of kindergarten classrooms that they currently have in existence at that particular school. Let's just, for the sake of argument, say that there are 4 kindergarten classrooms. And next year, what would happen is those 4 kindergarten classrooms at that school site would all be converted to dual language instruction classrooms. There would not be additional kindergarten classrooms offered that are English-only classrooms at that particular site. So what would happen to parents who do not want their children to participate? The district will have an optional school that the students can go to that would be within the vicinity of the site that is selected, so that the students who opt out of the program are welcome to send their children to that other previously identified site. However, thinking that, taking into consideration that not every parent would want their child to participate in the program, then the priority would go to students who live within that school district's that school's boundaries first. However, all other open spots, and we anticipate there will be open spots, would be available for students or families who would like their child to participate from throughout Madera Unified School District. Regardless of where you live, you would not have to live in the boundaries of that particular school site in order to enroll your child in the program. There are some considerations that are still being made in regards to whether or not we'll be able to provide some transportation, and there is a survey that is also on this link here after the presentation that we would welcome your feedback on in regards to your interest in the program and whether or not transportation would be a necessity. We're gathering these numbers so that we can present them for our board for further consideration on those details that are still being determined at this point in time. So going back to the model of a school-wide type of situation, let's say that there are only 4 kindergarten classrooms at a particular school site, the one that is selected, the enrollment would be limited to those 4 classrooms. We would continue to maintain the same amount of students to teacher ratio that we currently have in all kindergarten classrooms throughout the district, which is 24 students to 1 teacher. So given that idea and keeping that in mind, then we would have, if we had 4 classrooms at one school site, for example, then we would have 96 spaces open. When you fill out your application, we would ask that you understand that we are looking for families to commit to the program for a minimum of 5 to 7 years, but keeping in mind that we do plan to continue to expand this program year by year all the way up to 12th grade. So year one, we are only starting with incoming kindergarten students. But every year thereafter, so this first year we start with kindergarten, the next year your kindergartners will go into first grade. We will expand the program at that same school to offer kindergarten and first grade. And then the next year we would open up second grade so that the students who are currently in the program will move into the second grade, and then third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, etc., until the entire school is converted into a dual language school, a school-wide model of dual language instruction. When applications are turned in, the district office will accept those applications, and we will date and time stamp those. And as we go through, one of the things we're going to be looking for, obviously, is the balance of students and their languages that the students speak. You would also need to fill out a home language survey, and keep in mind that we are looking at the language that your child speaks predominantly. So not the language of the parents in the home, but this actual language of the child. So whatever language your child speaks most in the home, that would be the language that we would identify your child as. And we would follow up with some assessments to see where the child is coming into the program, and also continue to assess them in their progress in both languages along the way.